Hello, you're very welcome back to the Irish Independence League of Ireland review video. Sean O'Connor here from a very, very noisy, boisterous delirium here in Dalymount Park after Dublin derby win over Shelbourne. Dan McDonald's at URC where Shamrock Rovers beat Waterford 3-1. But Dan, I suppose it's probably best off starting here. It's absolutely rocking here. Apologies for the sound quality. Massive win for Bohs. 6 wins in their last 7. Obviously, we all saw the pictures of Damien Duff watching from a grass bank just above the Des Kelly stand. But this game was really a moment, saying it in the report there, a game that was decided by a moment between the two number 8s midway through the first half. Mark Coyle dilly-dallying for just half a second inside the box. Great pressure from Dale Rooney to dispossess him. Mark Coyle had no choice but take him down, gets a straight red, wins the penalty, and Dan, that proved to be the winner.
Yeah, it's normally a bit later when you have the winning goals in Dalymount. That's almost far too early. But 2 red cards for Shells, and I know it was a big win last week. The record in Dublin derbies across the last year has been very good, and that's obviously changed tonight. But Bohs, 2 points off top. It's a remarkable turnaround.
It's incredible. Like I was saying, I saw the last meeting between the sides 5 weeks ago tonight, and at that point, Shells won 1-0, late Odubeko winner. At that point, you were thinking, where are Bohs going? Really tricky running results. But since then, it's been a remarkable turnaround, and it's probably the earliest winner they've scored in a couple of weeks now. But Bohs just up to third, 2 points off second. Shells remaining in 6th, and Dan, what a turnaround for Bohemians.
Yeah, no, it was. But I suppose Shamrock Rovers are top of the table. That's the story here. It was hard going for them at times, I have to say. They fell behind early, Pádraig Amond scoring. And I think this was one of those wins that champions get across the season, because they have to sort of roll with the punches a little bit. In Waterford, a form team in the country coming into tonight, they score early, big crowd. But Rovers sort of don't lose their heads, work their way back into it. Waterford switch off for the equaliser. I think the second half, maybe in some ways, a story of squad depth. Wasn't much in it at the start. Rovers make a treble sub in 65 minutes. It shows maybe they're not happy with the way things are going. Waterford lose Kasper Radkowski to an injury, and then they have to reshuffle, and look, they don't have the bench that Rovers do, and it's 2 subs who score. Michael Noonan, it's had a hell of a week, I suppose, off the park, and Graham Burke, and it's there's just something ominous about the way that they've gone and picked up these 3 points. Not a vintage performance, but good enough to get the job done against a decent side, who are in decent form. That's squad depth, and they'll bounce into Monday. But look, in terms of late drama, Pats have basically taken the Bohs role tonight, haven't they?
I know, absolutely incredible. Like Aidan Fitzmaurice at that, not an ideal late rewrite, probably 2 late rewrites for Aidan. Sean Maguire penalty to put Cork 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go. Great, that would have been a great story for himself, having been had so long out on the sideline so far this season. And then El Bouzedi on 89 minutes, Jamie Lennon with a 95th minute winner. And Dan, usually the last few weeks, I suppose, with the late winners, but that's a massive result for Pats. There was a little bit of pressure on Pats coming into this game. They probably haven't had the start to the season they would have wanted, but that's a massive result for them coming into Monday, especially.
Yeah, and I was just looking at, certainly, I think if Pats had lost that game and then they're going to Tal on Monday, they're heading into a situation where you could be 10 points behind, I think, if things go wrong. So the hell of a turnaround. I know there was a lot going on there. We kind of watched some of the full-time teams, some of the disagreements in the pitch invasion, and just chatting the game. 2-1, it was looking very bad. I know Jared Nash was there. I think he might have evolved even at half time. That's what Aidan was maybe suggesting in the live blog. But it's a huge win for Pats, and a badly needed one.
Dan, I was here tonight at the Dublin derby, but there was another derby out in Connacht. Sligo picking up a long-awaited win. There's a couple of defeats in a row now for Galway United. Hutchinson with the winner 20 minutes from time, and that's a massive result for them coming into the international break, keeping a little bit of pressure off and just not letting that gap on Cork City just grow too large, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I suppose in the running table at one point, I don't know, they might have been looking at Cork City being winning and thinking, oh God, what do we have to do here? But yeah, it's a huge win for them. I mean, Galway obviously they've definitely lost their way in the last couple of weeks. You can sort of officially say that now. But Sligo Rovers, yeah, I mean, like you'd imagine, Cork City, with as much as they've lost tonight, are going to get a little bit of a bounce. Sean Maguire being back and a new manager, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I don't know, did they start to look at Galway 8 points ahead and start to aim upwards, both of those teams, and can they drag anyone else into it? But it certainly looks like it's going to be those two as it stands.
And just the final game this evening, Dan, Drogheda United 1, Derry City 1. Ahai with a first half goal, but Thomas with an injury time. Talk about both injury time winners. Pats haven't won this evening as well, but Derry City late leveller, just to keep the pace on Shamrock Rovers, now tied second on 27 points of Bows.
Yeah, like that could end up being the most significant goal of the night. I mean, who knows the way things pan out. I see Drogheda have dropped to fifth now, so it just goes to show how the swings can happen. And yeah, it was a night of late goals, and it was a significant result for Derry just to maintain some of their momentum at the moment. They obviously don't have a game on Monday because they're not in Europe, so it gets a bit busy for those European teams. Drogheda have to go and play Shells now. And there's going to be I'd say there'll be a bit of fatigue with both of those teams and a bit of mental energy needed after sort of bad Fridays in terms of how they've ended. But I think in general terms, yeah, Derry will be pretty happy with a point in Drogheda.
And Dan, just briefly on the first division, two former senior internationals, Stephen Elliott and Colin Healy, facing off this evening. Kerry drawn with Wexford 1-1. Colin Healy's first game in charge, I suppose first game in the dugout, you should say as well.
Yeah, no, that was significant. I suppose the big game there was Dundalk winning down in Cove, though. Cove obviously on a run. It was a first half red card, and all of a sudden Dundalk now 4 clear of Bray, 6 ahead of Cove. Bray are obviously flying, and that was the big game of the night, and Dundalk have passed that test.
Brilliant. Dan, look, we both managers chat to us, so from the RSC, I'll leave you there. From Dalymount, thanks very much for watching. You can follow all the latest reaction to tonight's League of Ireland games with the Irish Independent.
Thank you.